like I'm just about done with it, but there are a few things that I want to change to make it more interesting and closer to what I want it to be. And this gets into a personal thing that artists go through. Some want to really make a lot of detail, you know, get into the detail a lot. That's perfectly great. Others would rather make it a little more abstract. I think I am more in the impressionistic or abstract vein. That's sort of my mode of working. So for me to go back in and to delineate things again and to instruct myself on some changes that I would like are pretty much the way I work. Many times I depart at this point from what I have in front of me and use what I've made as the prime inspiration for the rest of the development. And like I say, this is only one way of working. It's the way I work and what I can show you. There's many different ways of working, and best thing to do is to investigate as many as you can so that you can find your own personal style, because that's what you're going to be happy doing. So you don't really want anybody to say like, oh, you should be doing this or you should be painting this way if you're not comfortable with it. You have to be comfortable with it. You have to really love it. And this is the way I like to paint. So basically, I'm considering changing the background now. Maybe bringing it up, changing the color. Why? I just feel like it would be better to have this color. I sort of like the contrast between the red and the green here, the red of the plant. So I'm bringing up the color of the background now. I like the brush work. I like to see paint. I like the tension between an image and the paint that makes it. I think that's probably what makes my take on this a little more contemporary. So in the paintings of the old masters, many times you're not really aware that paint is put down at all. And in fact, it's usually put down in a glaze. Now I have pretty much 3 sections here, which I rather like. When I drew this in, I was thinking how nice it would be. Maybe I'll use a smaller brush to bring in a shadow here that was a little more vibrant. See if I can do that. Sort of tie these images together. in the previous development, I indicated that I wanted to have the book sit down a little more. I think this is maybe a good way to go to do that. And I like that blue so much. I'm going to do this. And that to me is just a little more interesting than the regular green. I think a highlight on the book would be a good idea. Again, I'm thinking carefully about my color now, that I seem to be bringing everything up a little bit, so I'm going to choose a kind of a light orange for the highlight here. Maybe use that same color down here, or a color very similar to it. Then I like that violet in there. I'm going to emphasize that just a little bit more. Maybe put some of that violet down here for this book. Now I've brought that area up a little bit, and I think what I'm going to do is to redo the green on the pot just a little bit. Let's bring that up a little bit more. Put some of that green over here. So that keeps the volume, and I'm liking that so much. This bothers me just a little bit. I think everything else seems to be fairly solid. I'm going to maybe just change that color a little right in here. See what happens. You can see that I'm actually leaving some of the previous color in. I'm going to use my bigger brush to finish off that side. Some of that red is coming through the blue that I'm putting down, and I like that. Just gives it a richer color effect. Tighten this shadow up a little bit right here in the corner. Lighten that up a little bit more. I think I'm just about done with this. One more thing. Let's bring this up a little bit. So I've brought that up a little bit to push it forward to see what that would look like. It's okay, but now I have this big section that's sort of pulling out. So now I'm going to put it back a little bit. So you can see how you can play with the color, change it. This is your world, this is your environment. And with paint, you can do anything you want. And just keep on working with it till you feel finished with it. Or it feels finished with you. It's mutual. So that's the third phase of development, and I could go on and enrich the color areas a little bit more, but I think you have the picture of how to develop it that way.